Hello, hello everybody. Hello. Yeah, please, if you can hear me, can you please let me know if you can hear me? Please, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, please, in the chat, just so that I'm sure you all can hear me. Yeah, please, if you can hear me, just say in the chat, yes, we can hear you. That will help me a lot, right? Okay, yeah, I can see a few people that says yes, we can hear you. Thank you so much, Diana. Thank you, Pinkberry, how are you doing? I hope your day was good, right? Pinkberry, hello to by the way, if the only way for me to know that you're around is if you say something in the chat. So I really love that you say something in the chat. I really love Pinkberry. Hello, Pinkberry. Hello to who else? Who else is around? I can only see Pinkberry around. What about the others? Please let us know if you are in the chat. Maybe you can just say something. And yeah, hello, Juliet. Hello, Juliet. How are you doing, Juliet? Juliet Aquamoa Boateng. Hope I'm pronouncing the name well. I'm very sorry if I don't pronounce the name well. I'm really so sorry. Hello, Juliet. Hello, Adabuye. Adabayue. Selina. Again, I'm so sorry if I don't pronounce the name well, right? I'm really sorry. Hello, Joanna Panka. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Bone Bame from Botswana. Wow, so nice to have you. Hello, Shaibu Abubakar from Ghana. Interesting. We are so happy to have you all here. Welcome to another very beautiful session where we're going to talk about a lot of beautiful things, right? We have so much to share, so much to talk about in this beautiful session. Hello, Musa. Musa Nami Nimatu. Musa Nimatu. Hope you're doing well. Please, like I said, if you are around, just drop a comment, say hello or a hi in the comment, just so that I know that you're around. Hello, Rebecca. Rebecca Fum from Ghana. Wow, so nice to have Rebecca. Please, like I said, if you're around, just drop a hello or a hi, just so that I know that you're around, right? By the way, that's the only way I can know if you're around. If you don't see anything in the chat, I'm most likely not to know. I'm Banner Linda. Oh, Banner Linda from Ghana. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, your name is rather writing Pinkberry, right? I guess Pinkberry is a name you love. I don't know. Hello, Kwesi Answer. Kwesi Answer. Yeah, we're going to be starting in 1 minute, right? We're starting in 1 minute. I'm just using this opportunity to say hello and hi to everybody, right? But then we'll start in 1 minute. Hello, Renel Ghana. Hello, Juliet. Oh, I've spoken with Juliet already. Juliet says, big ups, Renel and Impactor for putting this together. Wow, thank you so much for that word. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to train people, to add value to people's lives. Hello, Vincent or Vincent. I was pronouncing it with a French accent. Hello, Vincent from Ghana. In French, they will call him Vincent. Yeah, so today we're going to be looking at a very important topic. We're going to be seeing how you can drive your sales with data and insights, right? And of course, just like every other session, this session is going to be 1 hour where we're going to be seeing how you can drive your sales, using data and insights. How can you drive your sales using data and insight? That's what we are going to be looking at today, right? So today on our course outline, we have three major things. Well, not three. This time we have quite a number of them. The first thing is, what is data? Hope you Yeah, I hope you can hear me now. I feel like we had some little connection issues. Sorry for that. Just I'm trying to make sure to see what I can do to make sure that we don't have that again. You see, but I hope you can hear me, right? I hope you can hear me. Okay, so I guess you can hear me. Please, you can help me confirm that, just so that we continue. Trying to make sure we don't have that challenge anymore. Okay, so let's go ahead, right? Let's go ahead. We're talking about the course outline. What we're going to be looking at today, basically. We're going to be looking at what is data and what is insight. Of course, there's a difference between data and insight, right? We're going to be looking at that. Then we'll look at the importance of data for business. Then we'll look at, some data sources. How can you get data to grow your business? Remember, the topic for today is growing your sales with data, right? How can you grow? How can you source for data, especially data that is important or relevant to grow your sales, right? Then we're going to be looking at knowing the right questions to ask, because a lot of times when you want to um, reach out, or when you want to get data, a lot of times one of the very important things is to understand the right questions to ask, because if you don't ask the right questions, you're not going to have the right information, and so the data that you're going to collect will be useless. Right? So it's one thing to collect data, it's another thing to collect useful data, right? Then we're going to look at some tools that you can use for data and insights, especially for collection of data, and analysis of data. Then lastly, we're going to see data analysis and presentation tools, right? How you can analyze and present your data. Yeah, that's what our session is going to look like, right? That's what our session is going to look like. So let's go ahead. So what is data? What is data? Uh, by the way, please help me confirm that you can hear me, because the chat has been quiet. Please, if you can hear me, just type one in the chat. That will really help me, right? If you can hear me, just help me type one in the chat. One in the chat. That will help me know whether or not you can hear me, because I just want to be sure that I'm not talking and I'm talking and people are not hearing me, right? So please, if you can hear me, help me type one in the chat. One, right? Just so that I can tell. Okay, thank you so much. Kita, Dimka, thank you. Shaibu, Abubakar, thank you. Winifred, for that. Okay, let's go ahead. Now, what is data? Data is simply a fact. Data is simply facts or information, used to calculate, analyze, or plan something. So data can really just be anything. It can be weight, it can be price, it can be cost, it can be numbers of items, it can be names of employees, it can be tax codes, it can be registration marks. Data can really be anything. Data can really just be anything. Data can really just be anything. But then data is not useful until you start having insights, right? The data you collected is not useful until you start having insights. And what are insights? Insight is being able to see or understand something clearly. That's what an insight is. So data is only valuable when you can have insight through your data. So data is just a random information, while insight are the conclusions that you come up with from analyzing your data. So data is not important until it starts having insights, right? Unless you can pick out insights from your data is not important. It was important to note that. Now, I would like to know, right? I would like to know. Please let me know in the chat. Have you ever collected data or insights, right? Have you ever collected data? Please just tell me in the chat if you've ever collected any data or any insight for anything. It could be for business, it could be for personal use, right? I would like to know whether you've done it before and what were the tools you used to collect data. What were some of the tools? Now, I want to suggest some of the tools, but I also just feel like keeping quiet and letting you, tell me the tools that you've been using. So, what tools have you been using so far in collecting data? What are the tools? Maybe you use Google Forms. Well, you see, I'm already trying to suggest tools. I didn't want to. Well, I'll just keep quiet. So you're going to tell me what tools you've been using, to collect data. What are the tools that you've been using? Marshall of Will says, yes, I have. Yeah, I want to know, how do you usually collect data? Do you use a Google form? Do you use emails? Do you use calls? Because you can collect data through calls. You can collect data through face to face, one on one. Yeah, Kita Dimka says, I have. I use questionnaires. Wow, that's beautiful. Questionnaires is a very beautiful way of collecting data. I would like to know, what about the others? Have you collected data before? And what are the tools that you use to collect data? So while waiting that your responses come, we're going to go ahead, right? We're going to look at the importance of data. Why is data important? Now, data is important because it can help you find new customers. You see, a lot of times, one of the reasons why we don't have new customers sometimes is simply because we don't have data. If you have enough data, you can be able to get new customers. You see, you can be able to find new customers. You can even be able to increase your customer retention if you have data. Now, uh, one of the things that I've noticed is that many people don't, uh, well, by the way, in business, data is like the blood of business. You see, if you're running a business and you're not collecting the data of your customers, then you're probably gonna have a lot of challenges in future. You see, because one of the major ways to increase customer retention is by collecting data. Now you have to collect data. Data can be feedback. You can call them and say, oh, I bought this product from you, or rather you bought this product from me. Were you really satisfied? Did you really like it? Now, a lot of times when you sell a product to a customer, it's not advisable to allow that customer to go. It's not advisable. Once you sell to a customer, the next thing that you have to do is to follow up to find out if the need of that customer was actually met. So discuss with the customer, say, oh, it's been like few days that you bought this product from me, right? Did you like it? Did it meet your need? You see, when you get this kind of feedback, customers are going to love to come back to you. You see, they will love coming back to you. So data can also help you improve on your customer service. Now, there many times customers don't complain. You see, even when they are not satisfied, they will still not complain. They'll just keep quiet and say, oh, yeah, they just keep quiet and go. You see, that's why it's advisable that from time to time, you get back to your customers to understand if they had any challenges. Now, when they notify the challenges, the next thing you want to do is to make sure that you respond quickly to these challenges, right? Very important. Another thing that data will make you do is that it will help you better your management efforts, or your marketing efforts. You see, a lot of times when you collect data, you can be able to understand the buying behavior of your customers. You'll be able to know exactly where to focus your energy on. You see, if you've been collecting the data of your customers, by now you will have found out that, oh, it's like many of my customers are between the age of 18 and 30. Many of my customers come from the gym. Many of my customers come from so and so area. Once you have that kind of information, you'll be able to focus your marketing just on areas that will make you, or rather, that will be profitable for you. Another advantage is tracking social media interactions. Now, those of you that are on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, you're going to realize that it's possible to use your insight to be able to track your social media interactions. You can know how many people your post can reaches every day. You can know who they are, these people that they reach. You can know how many followers you have, who these followers are. You can even know when your audience is most active online. And also data will help you predict your sales. You see, data will help you predict your sales. You'll be able to tell that, oh, in this year, I'm going to be able to make this amount of money. And prediction of sales is very important, especially when you're looking for investors. Because a lot of times when you look for investors, they want to know how your sales has been. And if you've not been collecting data of what your sales looks like, it's going to be very difficult for you, or you're going to have, so many challenges. Yeah, so I explained that data can help you find new customers. You know, Using a lot of data tools and sources, business owners can know where to focus their customer acquisition strategy. You see, if you know, for example, that many of your customers are between the age of 18 and 24, well, you're going to focus more energy in that direction. You see, data can help you increase your customer retention. Having insight about your customer preferences and demands will surely increase your loyalty, and retention. Sometimes you have to take time and study what are the things that are important to your customer, what are the things that matter to them. You see, so that you can create products and services that will respond to this need. Yeah, that will respond to this need, and that is very, very important. And that is one of the ways uh, you can you can retain customers. It can also help you increase your customer service. Now, you will agree with me that customer service is very, very important, and the only way to increase customer service is by discussing with customers. You see, you don't create products for yourself, you create it for customers. So it's important to always get to them, to analyze their complaints, understand their challenges, get their feedbacks, get their ratings, so that you'll be able to improve on the quality of your service, which will help you retain customers even more. You see, so like we said, data can help you better your marketing, effort. Once you have data, you'll be able to drive, better. You'll be able to take better marketing decisions, right? Data can also help you track your social media interactions. You can know, your engagements online, your subscribers, your followers. We've spoken about that. Data can help you predict your trends. You can know exactly which product people love the most. Imagine a scenario where you're selling many products and you don't know which one people love because you don't collect data. You can be able to tell that, oh, in the month of June, it's as though in the month of every month of June, people tend to buy so and so products. And that information is very vital. If you know, for example, that in the month of June, many people tend to buy a particular product, you want to put in some extra marketing effort in that particular direction. You see, so data can help you predict your sales, right? Yeah, so we've come to the first pause for our questions and answers. Please, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'll be so happy, to respond to all your different questions. Please, if you have any questions, put them in the chat so that we can address them, right? Do we have any questions? Marsha of Will says, I used a coding manual to collect data on the use of Facebook by libraries in Nigeria. Wow, that's so nice. Very nice. Winifred Isien says, I use interview. Wow. Kita Dimka. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Renel Ghana, Kwesi, Ansa, Amina, Yakubu, Shaibu, Kita, Winifred, please, do you have any questions? If you have any questions, please let us know in the chat that you have questions. Now, also, if you don't have questions, you can also let us know that you don't have any questions, just so that we can go ahead, and not wait, right? We can just move ahead to the next sessions and not have to wait. And not have to wait, right? Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we're going to go ahead, right? While waiting that probably your questions should come. Now let's look at steps to use when using data and insight to grow your business. What are some of the steps to use when using data and insight to grow your business? Now, the first step is to understand uh, 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 the right questions to ask. Well, we are going to explain all this in detail. The first step is to understand the right question to ask, then identify the best tools to use for analysis, right? What are the best tools? We're going to propose some of the tools to you, right? Then the last thing is to visualize and analyze your data. So these are the three main steps when using data and insights to grow your business. Now we're going to be looking at each of them, right? Each and every one of them. Now let's start with the first one, understanding the right questions to ask, right? Understanding the right questions to ask. Now, it's important to note that if you don't ask the right questions, you will not be able to have the right answers. So a lot of times you have to ask yourself, what is the objective, probably of my research? What is the objective of my research? Then when you define the objective of your research, you then have to ask questions that will help you meet the objective of that which you're searching for. You see, that's very important. So, I mean, for some of us that have been doing questionnaires, you're going to notice that a lot of times questionnaires are broken down into three, right? There is the first set of questionnaires, which, gives detailed information about the individual, the person, the name, the marital status, the sex, all of those stuff. Then we have the second session that dives into the matter, tries to ask questions around the topic of research. Now, if you do research, you're going to see that sometimes every topic usually has two variables, what we call the dependent and independent variable, right? You can ask questions around each of these different variables. You see, you can ask questions around each of these different variables to be able to come up with good questions. It's important that your questions should meet the need of your data. Very important. If you don't ask the right questions, you're going to have the wrong responses and you will not be able to do so much with the data that you collected, right? So let's look at steps in analyzing business data. What are some of the steps in analyzing business data? The first thing is to define your objective, right? Why are you trying to get the information? Why are you engaging on this research? Do you want to increase customers? Do you want to increase your brand loyalty? Do you want to have new prospects? What do you want? You have to define it. Once you define it, the next step is to ask yourself, what questions do I need to ask? So now that you've defined your objectives, maybe you want to increase customer retention. For example, your objective is that you want to increase customer retention. Now, you have to ask yourself, what questions do I need to ask to people in order to have answers that will help me improve customer retention? So maybe you can ask, hello, how did you find my product? What are the recommendations you can give to my products? These are questions that you can ask that will help you meet your need of increasing your retention. The next thing to do is, where do I get the needed information? Because now that you've defined your objectives, you've dressed your questionnaire, the next thing is, where do you get proper responses? Because you cannot just get responses anywhere. Sometimes, if you're in the field of agriculture, for example, you're not going to get responses from somebody in the digital field. A lot of times you have to look for people that are similar or people that are in your field to send questionnaires to them so that they can respond. So the next question is, how do I get the right information or the needed information? Do I go into Facebook groups? Do I go into WhatsApp groups? Do I contact friends, families, neighbors? Just how? How do I get the right information? And of course, once you send this information to these different places, the last step is, where or what do I do with the information? Now that you have the information, what do you do with it? How do you analyze it? How do you use it to come up with, objectives, or to come up with conclusions? So what can your objective be? Sometimes your objective can be to tell more people about your business, to sell more products, more of your products or services, to identify your most valuable customers, to find ways to engage with previous customers. Because sometimes a customer can buy from you and never come back. you know that's why we always recommend to go back to customers, because sometimes the reason why that customer has not been buying from you for the past 8 months is because he or she was not satisfied, but then you didn't care, or then you didn't get back to her. And because you didn't get back to her, she felt like, well, this guy or this lady doesn't care, and she decided to leave. So it's important that when you sell a product to a customer, don't just let the customer go, right? Call back the customer from time to time to find out if they really loved, you know, yeah, to find out if they really loved what you did, right? Or your product or your service. So, what are some relevant questions to ask about your business? You have to find out, who is your target audience? Who is your target audience, and how can you reach out to them online? Are they in a particular community? Are they following a certain influencer? You know, can you find them in some Facebook groups, in some WhatsApp groups? Where can you find all these different people? You have to define that. You also have to name those groups down. Group one, group two. Jot down the groups that you think you can find them in. And then the next question is, are they finding what they need? These different customers, when they get to you, are they really finding what they need? Are you delivering what you can promise? Are you delivering what you're promising? Right? Then you ask yourself, are they taking actions? Are they actually taking actions? And then are they coming back? Somebody was saying that in business, retention is king. And that's true. Retention in business is king. It's easy to, well, and that's why that's why I really don't, sometimes I don't really understand, how some people, sometimes work. You see, somebody, for example, is going to spend so much money on marketing, so much. Statistics show that over 33% of the company's revenue, come back through marketing. Over 33% of a company's revenue is spent on marketing. Now, how can you spend so much money on marketing and then you don't put systems in place to retain these customers? You see, it doesn't, I feel like saying it doesn't make sense. You see, it doesn't make sense to spend so much money to acquire customers, spend money, send out agents, print flyers, brochures, run adverts, and then by the time the customers are here, you're not doing anything to take care of them. That's not very good. So you always have to ask yourself the questions: are my customers coming back? If they are not coming back, you know you're probably in trouble. You see, where do I get the needed information? Where can you get the needed information? Sometimes you can get them on social media platforms. Sometimes social media platforms can be groups, can be communities. Sometimes you can get them via customer surveys and feedbacks, right? Sometimes you can send out questionnaires like Google Forms, send out to different people, they respond, and then you get their feedback. You can also get them through online analytics platforms. For example, you can get it through the Google Analytics. You can get it through the Google Search Console. Well, that's information for your website. We're going to look at that. When it comes to website, there are two tools you can use to understand best how your website, to manage the performance of your website. There is what we call the Google Search Console, and there is what we call the Google Analytics, right? That you can use to manage the performance of your website. The Google Search Console and the Google Analytics, right? That's very, very, very important to note. Okay, so let's move ahead. Please, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'm going to be addressing all of them. Let's look at some examples of data sources, places where you can collect data for your business. One of them is social media. You can collect data on social media. You can look at the pages of your competitors, and collect a lot of information from there, from the pages of your competitors. In fact, I know many pages, who use the page of their competitors to get their first customers. So most times they just go on the page of their competitors and they go through the comment section and look at all those who are writing interested, all those who are writing good, nice, and then they message these people inbox and sell to them. So you can get a lot of data from social media, a lot of trends from social media. Another sort of data you can get is through organic search. You can just go on Google and type out whatever information you're looking for. You're going to find it. Just go on Google and type it out. I'm looking for so, so, and so. You're going to find it, right? Or a lot of times you're going to find it. You can get data through your website. Like I said, if you have a website, it's possible to know exactly those who visit your website, to know how many people visit your website, to know where they come from, where these people come from, to know what they do when they visit your website, right? Now, how can you achieve this? You can do this using the Google Meet, or rather, the Google Analytics or the Google Search Console. I'm just going to drop that in the chat. Google Analytics and Google Search Console. These are some tools, that you can use to know a lot more about the people that visit your website. You can also uh, uh, um, get data from paid search. Paid search could mean that you can run a certain advert with the aim of getting data, getting people's emails, contacts, and getting a lot of very sensitive information, right? Amazing, amazing, amazing. So, what do I do when I get the information? Now that you have the information, what do you do? So, now that you've probably collected the information, what do you do? The first thing to do is to choose the right visualization technique. How are you going to visualize the information? How are you going to analyze the information? Visualization sometimes mean that you may have to reorder your information, or you may have to classify your information. You may have to tell yourself, okay, I'm going to classify my information in terms of age. Maybe all those between the age of 18 and 24, I put them on one table. All those between the age of 30 and 35, I put them on another table. You can classify them based on many things. You can classify them based on their age, based on their location, based on their behavior. The aim for structuring your data is so that you can best analyze it. You see, if you don't structure it well, you will find it difficult to analyze. Another thing to do is to identify key metrics and key performance indicators, right? What are the key performance indicators you're going to be using, towards the progress of your research? You see, maybe you can use uh, metrics like size, maybe age, maybe quality. You can use speed. You can look for some metrics that you're going to use to be able to measure the performance of your progress, right? Another thing you can do is to regularly update and monitor visualizations to reflect the most recent data, right? Now, you want to make sure that you always update and monitor your visualizations to make sure that it's always reflecting to the most recent data, right? Regularly updating, regularly checking through your data to ensure, especially in scenarios where new data keeps coming in, right? New data keeps coming in. So you want to keep measuring, you want to keep updating. You keep a look at it to make sure that there are no changes and all of that. You see, another thing to do is if your business operates across different geographical locations, you can consider visualizing them on maps, right? You can decide to visualize them on maps. You just have to look for, classify them, per location, and then start visualizing them that way, right? These are a few ways you can use, or a few ways of the things you can do with data. Now let's look at the importance of insights. Insights are very important. They can help you investigate on market or identify market trends and insights from the data generated. Now, once you generate data, you can be able to understand market trends. You can be able to understand consumer behavior. You can be able to verify customer loyalty. You can understand so much when it comes to trends in data. You can also understand your user experience. You can know whether people are satisfied or not, right? Whether people are happy or not. You can know that. It can also help you for content marketing. Content marketing. You see, a lot of times people are usually ask us, what can I do to improve on the engagement of my audience? Sometimes somebody will make a post on Facebook and then the person will have one like or two likes, and the person is like, oh, what can I do to improve on my engagements? Well, the reason your engagements are low is because you don't know your audience. You see, it's difficult to engage an audience you don't know. That's why you have to take time to study your audience, understand their pains, their frustrations, their dreams, their aspirations. Take time to understand them, right? Once you understand them, you'll be able to create content that makes sense to them. You cannot engage an audience that you don't understand. Very, very important to note that. You see, another advantage of data is that you can adopt or adapt your strategy, right? You can look into your data and get insights from there that will help you to take better informed decisions, right? Yeah, so we've come to the second pause for our questions. Please, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I'm also going to just go through the chat to see if there are any questions that I can, that I can respond to, right? If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'll go through the chat to see if there are any questions that I can respond to, basically. So I'll just go through the chat. Kojo Peterson says, in Ghana, we are celebrating Customers Week. Wow. Wow. If you're celebrating Customers Week in Ghana, this might be the opportunity for you to do something good to your customers. You can offer them a gift, a gift that you don't always have to spend, right? A lot of times people always feel that to surprise your customers, you have to spend. Sometimes you can surprise your customers with things as little as a love letter, just a letter of appreciation. Hello, I noticed that you've been buying from me for the past 5 years. I really wish send this letter to just say thank you. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for trusting our company. And please always let us know if there is something you think we can do to improve on our services. Thank you so much. We love you. Bye bye. As simple as that. It doesn't have to be a gift. Sometimes it can just be a letter of appreciation. Sometimes it could really just be whatever, just something that will help you distinguish yourself from others, right? Kojo Peterson says, if customers are not satisfied or you don't address their concerns in ways which is criminal or unethical, they just leave you for a different person. Exactly, exactly. When a customer is not satisfied and they will leave, they normally will leave. They normally will just leave. Or if you address them in an unethical way, they will leave. Thank you so much, Kojo, for that comment. uh Kojo says, I use questionnaires. Kita Dimka says, for a growing business, how can you generate traffic? By traffic, I mean customers and followers. Now, let me just let you know that if you want to generate followers, this thing I keep explaining over and over. If you want to generate followers, add value to people's lives. As simple as that. I always ask you, Kita Dimka, tell me, who are the people that you follow online and why do you follow them? The reason you follow them is because they add a certain value to your life. So if you want people to follow you, you have to be useful to them. Don't just try to sell to them. Try to be useful to them. Don't just try to sell to them. Try to look for the challenges that they are facing and bring solutions to them. So if you are in the field of agriculture, for example, you can ask yourself, what are the challenges that people face when it comes to agriculture? Then you break down those challenges and create content, which could be video, audio, written content, graphics, that don't just try to sell your products, but that add value or that helps people. If you position yourself as somebody who is adding value, people will normally follow you. You see, people will normally follow you, right? So that's very important to note, right? Okay, let's go ahead. Please, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. I've answered a few questions already. If you have any, please put them in the chat. If not, we are going to go ahead, right, to the last part. We have just like 15 minutes left, right? Not long. So just be patient and stay with us. We have 15 minutes to conclude our session. So let's look at some tools that you can use uh, to grow, or rather, some tools that you can use to analyze your data, right? What are some tools that you can use? You can use, for example, tools like the social media. You can use your social media insights. Now, every single social media has an insight. Every single social media has an insight. Facebook has an insight. Instagram has an insight. Now, if you look into your Facebook insight, you're going to be able to tell how many people follow you, who they are. In fact, you can tell what time people are most regular online, what time your audience is most online. Now, knowing that kind of information is beautiful because guess what? What you can do is you can start posting at that particular kind of time. You can even know where exactly people are following you from. So you can know that, oh, majority of people are following me from Abuja, Nigeria. That means that you might have to give some more attention to Abuja, Nigeria. Or you may notice that many of those who follow you are between the age of 30 and 40. That means you may have to give special attention to those kinds of people, right? Another tool that you can use uh, is the Google Search Console, right? The Google Search Console. Now, the Google Search Console is going to help you a lot monitor, data in your website. Now, I don't know if maybe Diana could help us drop the link to the Google Search Console. Maybe she can help us drop the link. The Google Search Console is going to help you a lot to be able to know exactly what is happening on your website, right? We also have the Google Analytics. The Google Analytics can also help you know exactly what is happening on your website. Now, the difference between the Google Search Console and the Google Analytics, they are both for the website. The main difference is that the main difference is that the Google Search Console seems to focus more on external data, more on data like, where your customers come from, how they found you, you know, who they are, all those kinds of stuff. A lot of times, the Google Search Console is most likely to focus on the external part, while the Google Analytics a lot of times focuses on the internal part. So the Google Analytics is going to focus on how long people stay on your website, your bounce rate. They're going to focus on what people do when they come on your website. You see, it's going to focus on who are these kinds of people. You see, so the Google Analytics and the Google Search Console are very good tools to use in order to be able to look at the progress of to monitor the progress of your website. Then we also have what we call the Google Ad. Now, the Google Ad also has its own insight, right? That can allow you to be able to tell the progress of your ad, how well your ad is doing, right? The Google Ad can also tell you how well your ad is doing, right? So you might want to work on that. Well, these are for people who are running Google adverts or people who are doing what we call search engine marketing. I'm not sure. Well, I think our last session is going to be on Google Ads. We're going to take time and explain how you can run. Uh, we're going to take time and explain how you can run Google Ads, right? So, like I said, your Facebook page insight can give you a lot of information. You see, if you look at the page on your screen, you can get more information about how people are engaging with you, finding you, and reacting to your content. For example, you can see here on your screen the actions on your page. Maybe I should maybe precise that you can only see this information if you have a Facebook page, not a profile, because it's important that you know that there's a difference between a page and a profile. On a profile, you have friends. On a page, you have followers. On a profile, you have friends. On a page, you have followers. So it's very important that you know the difference between a page and a profile. So it's only if you have a page that you'll be able to identify your insights. And by the way, today it's possible to know that to change your profile into your page. So if you have a Facebook profile, you can turn it into a page and then you're going to start having followers automatically. So you can see that your Facebook Insights can give you information about the actions on your page, the page views, the page previews, your likes, your reach. It can show you how many people you reach out within a specific number of time. It can even give you recommendations, right? Those are so many things that you can learn from the Facebook Insight. Then we have the Google Search Console. The Google Search Console will help you get information about your website visits and the organic interactions with some of your website pages. So the Google Search Console will help you know, for example, the total clicks, the total impressions, the click-through rate, the average position. You know, it's going to help you know the performance, how well your website, how well your website is doing. And by the way, the link for the Google Search Console has been dropped already, right, in the chat. The link for the Google Search Console has been dropped already. Diana has dropped the link, right? Now let's go to the Google My Business. Well, I'm sure that we had a whole session on the Google My Business, right? The Google My Business profile basically is responsible uh, for the way your business appears on Google. I want to believe that we had a whole session on the Google My Business profile, right? Well, if we didn't have it, we're going to have it, right? It's responsible for the way your business appears on Google. Like when somebody types your name on Google, the first thing they see, you know, uh, is dependent on how your Google My Business profile looks like. So if you don't have one, make sure you have one. And we probably explained and told you that the Google My Business profile can take the place of a website, and it plays a very important role in local search engine optimization. Meaning that if you want people in your locality to know about your product or your service, it's strongly recommended that you have a Google My Business, uh, profile, right? That's very, very important. So your Google My Business profile can also manage your presence across your Google search and your Google Maps, right? Then we have the Google Analytics. The Google Analytics will help you understand what customers are doing on your website and how, right? It will help you know, what are customers doing on your website when they visit your website. How long do they stay on your website? Do they stay for long? It will help you know that. What do they do? What are the different pages that they click on? you know and the link to the Google Analytics, well, to get to the Google Analytics, you have to head on to analytics.google.com. I'm sure Diana is going to drop the link. Analytics.google.com. Fatih Seidu is saying she can't hear me. Please, I hope it's not a general problem. Fatih Seidu is saying she can't hear me. Please, I hope every other person can hear me. I just want to make sure it's not a general issue. So to head on to Google Analytics, you have to go to analytics.google.com. I guess Diana will drop that link in the chat, right? So when you create your analytics account, the next thing to do uh, would be to connect your analytics account to your website, right? There is a way to connect your analytics account to your website, right? Once you create your analytics account, you can connect it to your website. And well, maybe for you to connect your analytics account to your website, you may need the help of a web developer, right? You may need to contact a web developer and discuss with the web developer. You may need the help of a web developer to do that, right? Because you will have to collect your ID on the analytics account and then add it to your website, right? You may need the help of a web developer. So we have another pause for questions, and I'm just going to see if we have any questions in the chat. Uh, Shaibu is asking, must you attend all the data you collect from the customers as a business manager? Must you attend to all the data you collect? Well, it depends on your objectives, right? If you feel like the data you attending to this data that you collected will help you achieve your objective, then good to go. It really all depends on your objectives, what you want to achieve. So let's go to the last part of the data, which is visualizing and analyzing your data. Now we have like only 4 minutes left. What are the ways you can visualize your data? Now, to visualize your data, you can use the Google Analytics, the Google Analytics, and you can see the Google Analytics dashboard. You can see the Google Analytics dashboard, right? Maybe I should also precise that this Google Analytics dashboard is going to change. It's going to change. I don't know if it has changed already by now, but then it's going to change. There are going to be some updates. Well, the main features are going to be there, but then there will just be a few updates, some very, very few updates. You see, so you can use your Google Analytics dashboard to visualize your data. For example, if you look at what is on your screen, you can be able to tell how many new users you have, right? You can be able to tell how long these users stay on your website. You can be able to know the locations. You can know exactly the places, the locations of the places that people follow you, right? You can tell that, oh, more people follow me from Cameroon, from Nigeria, from Ghana. You can even know the browsers that they use. You can see, for example, that many people use the Chrome browser, others use the Firefox, others use Safari, others use the Internet Explorer, Opera, and others. You can even know the kind of mobile device that they use, right, to get to your website. You can know the kind of mobile device that they use, whether they are using Apple, Samsung, you know, um, others, right? You know, it will be able to give you all that kind of information. You'll be able to visualize, the your data using that. So, how to set up a Google Analytics account? We have already said it. Go to analytics.google.com. Now, I don't know if Diana has dropped the link, analytics.google.com. If she hasn't, maybe I'll just try to pick it up somewhere. If I can pick that link up, analytics.google.com. Let me see if I can pick up that link. Now, that's the link to have your analytics account, right? It's somewhere, analytics.google.com. Where are you? Okay, this is the guy, analytics.google.com. I'm just going to drop it in the chat, right? Analytics.google.com. Yeah, it's going to appear in the chat in a moment. The link, analytics.google.com. So once you head on to analytics.google.com, they're going to ask you for your name, right? The name of your business. You choose the name of your account. They're going to ask you the category of your industry, whether you're a media company, agricultural company, cosmetics, you just have to follow the instructions. It's very simple. Once you go on analytics.google.com, just follow the instructions. It's going to create an analytics account. Now, when you create your analytics account, they're going to give you a tracking ID, right? A tracking ID. To get your tracking ID, you can go under admin, right? Admin. That's after creating your account, of course. You can go under admin, then you pick up your tracking ID, and you use that tracking ID to connect to your website. So you use the tracking ID that you got to connect to your website, right? Now, like I said, you may need the role of a software engineer, right? Or a software developer or a web developer to assist you in this light, right? So you have to use this ID and then connect it to the back end of your website. From there, it's going to connect your analytics account to your website, and you'll be able to monitor the progress of your account. Now, when you create that account, there are four major areas that you want to look at. Your audience, right? Who they are, the acquisition, meaning how they got to you, how they got to find you, their behavior, what they do, how long do they stay, and then conversions, what are their worth, right? You may have to define that. Yeah, so that's basically it. The four things you should consider. And of course, we've come to the end of our session. Thank you so much for joining the session. I hope you loved it. By the way, I think the attendance form has to be dropped. Let me just check. Please don't go without filling the attendance form, right? Don't go without filling the attendance form. Let me just get the attendance from somewhere for you and drop in the chat. The reason you have to fill the attendance form is because uh, you know you will be given certificates, right? And you want to make sure that uh, uh, you get your certificate, right? So let me try to pick the attendance form somewhere and give you, right? Yeah, I got the attendance form. So let me pick it up somewhere and give you. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, cool. I have it. Let me give it to you. Please don't go without filling it. Oh, the attendance form has been sent already. Diana has sent the attendance form. Thank you. Thank you very much, Diana. She has sent the attendance form. So please make sure you fill the attendance form. I hope the lesson was cool. I hope you learned something. Thank you so much for attending the session. And of course, see you in the next session. By the way, we're on YouTube, meaning that if there is something you didn't understand, you can always come back, and watch the video, right? Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoyed the class. I hope you learned something. See you during the next session, right? Bye bye. Please, you might want to tell me bye bye in the chat before you go. You might want to just say bye bye before you go, right? Don't go without saying a bye. Please do well to say a goodbye before we go, right? So thank you so much and see you during our next session. Bye 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 bye.